Hello, I'm Brian Donovan with Thai Martial Arts, and this is your Martial Minute. Alright, so today what I wanted to go over with you guys real quick is how to do the 1-inch punch, okay? I'm going to show you a training method on how I train my students how to do the 1-inch punch, and really all the 1-inch punch is just a power generation. There seems to be almost like a lot of like myth and legend. There's like almost like this mystical power surrounding the 1-inch punch. Like it's something only like the greatest of the great masters can actually achieve, and it's not even true. I remember years ago, and this is when I was doing Kempo karate, back when I used to do Kempo karate, like, I don't know, 18 years ago. I remember I was a huge Bruce Lee fan growing up, and I'm still a big Bruce Lee fan. But I remember asking my instructors, we were talking about Bruce Lee, we were talking about the way he moves and the way he fights, and we're talking about the power generation of the 1-inch punch, and I remember asking him about that, and he's like, oh yeah, I can show you that real fast. I'm like, you can? He's like, yeah, it takes like 5 minutes. And I'm like, wow, that's incredible. So I'm going to show you guys how you can basically learn how to do the 1-inch punch in under 5 minutes, okay? Let's get started. So the 1-inch punch. The 1-inch punch made famous by Bruce Lee back in, 1964 at the Long Beach International Karate Tournament there, where he knocked that big karate guy down, pushed him back in a chair, something like that. You guys can search that footage up on YouTube. So let's go over how to start practicing like this. So if you're a karate stylist or a kung fu stylist, this is gonna be really easy for you. If you're a boxing stylist, we can make this work for you guys as well. It's just changing up the stances and the footwork, no big deal. So for a traditionalist, we're going to start off in that horse stance. Now, a lot of different karate styles are going to snap there. You're going to see it on the intermediate levels when they start generating that power. They're going to basically snap. They're going to get this twisting motion in their waist. So the movement snaps from the hip. So I pop that hip, which in turn twists the waist, pops the shoulder, and then snaps the fist out. Okay, so we're going to snap that out as quick as we can. Now, for the Chinese practitioner, a lot of Chinese practitioners are going to say, no, it needs to come from the floor. I need to get my good stance. I need to get a good root in, and this way it needs to come from the floor. So for the Chinese practitioner, what you're typically going to find is it's not that I'm trying to push myself away from the earth, is I'm trying to push the earth away from me. So you're going to find this sink, you're going to find this dig in as you snap that punch. But you're still going to get that same wiggle, if you will, that same surge coming out the body as you snap the fist at the end. Now, for boxers, it's the same thing. It's the same thing your coaches have been telling you from the beginning, which is make sure you rotate and follow through. It's just now you're relaxing is all you're doing, and now you're snapping it. So I'm still pushing, I'm still popping that hip, I'm still popping that shoulder on my straight punch, and whip it back as quick as possible, okay? So for boxing, it's the same thing. You're just changing the stances all you're doing. So instead of a wide side stance, you have more of a narrow, more forward stance, that type of idea. Okay, so it's still applicable. Now I know when we watch the old footage of Bruce Lee, he's done it several times facing the side. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're facing forward. It doesn't matter if you're in a boxing stance. I don't care if you're in a Taekwondo stance. For point sparring, it doesn't really matter. You can apply it from all angles. It's the concept that is important, not necessarily just the physical movements, okay? Remember, the physical movements are the end result of the concept, and we would take that concept and apply it to different physical movements. All right, let's go ahead and start getting into the next phase on how to make this work. So for the next part of this exercise, next part of this power generation concept, we're going to apply it to a wall. Now, I'm on the corner of the wall, and the reason being is because structurally it's going to be a little bit more sound. I don't want to be in the middle of the drywall, so if you guys are at home practicing this, please do not practice this just on empty drywall. If there's no stud there, and you're not sure where the stud is, practice on the corner, okay? You don't need to be putting a hole in mommy's drywall. She'll be real pissed, especially when dad gets home, okay? All right, so doesn't matter which stance you're in, okay? We can go into a forward stance, we can go into a side stance, we can go into a boxer stance. I don't care, it doesn't matter. Again, it's all that same concept, which is you're going to kind of dig in, you're going to push the earth away from you, and you're going to feel that surge, that whipping motion out the hand. So the next phase in this, and I'll just do it from like a high kind of half-efforted crappy horse stance here. So from here, I'm just going to put my palm at chest level. My arm is actually almost locked out, so I want a little bit of a relaxation in it. You don't want to lean forward. Okay, if you guys can see it, I know I'm wearing a black shirt and it's hard to see, but see how my shoulder pops like that? You don't want that. See this lean? We don't want that. We want to stay upright, we want to stay relaxed. I want just enough extension just to put the palm onto the wall. Now, here's the hard part. What you're going to do with this full extension, with the body almost locked out, with just a little bit of slack in the joints, is you're actually going to pop the hip and push yourself away from the wall. Now, this actually is going to, when I show this to you, you're going to be like, dude, that's easy. I'm like, give it a try, buddy. So from here, a lot of students do have trouble with this. So what you're going to do is just from the high horse stance is I'm going to surge and push. When you do so, you should be almost locking out your arm. Your arm should be stiff enough to where what's going to happen is that energy is going to want to go into the wall. But because we've got a solid structure there, it's going to bounce back into your body. It's going to push you away. So from here, again, practicing that 1-inch punch, just popping there, you're just pushing yourself away. Now, I know you're probably saying, it's like, ooh, smoke, mirrors, magic tricks, whatever, you phony kung fu guy. It's like, that's fine. Go try it yourself, and then comment back a little bit later. This is just the application, okay? Again, if I show you from more of a side, I want to push and whip the body out. But because the arm is straight, there's nowhere for that energy to go. It's not going to dissipate into the wall. That's why I'm saying be careful if you're on drywall. Now I got a nice brick wall in the back here, but I got a whole bunch of equipment in the way, so I can't really get to it. If you can practice on a brick wall, then that's fine. Okay, once you get good at something like this is where board breaking. When I personally, as an instructor, I look at people break boards, I'm like, who gives a crap? It's 1/2-inch punch and it's so easy to do. So this is where now you can start doing your 1-inch punch. You can do it from finger distance away, you can roll it half of the knuckles, that type of stuff. And then when you pop that fist into the board, you're going to snap that board. Now, here's another little thing. I'll give you a little thing on a little piece of information on a side note. When you get your little 12 by 12 1/2-inch pine boards that you got cut at Home Depot, if you have the grain facing vertical, it's going to be very, very difficult to break because typically your holder is holding it this way. Now, if you have your holder holding it this way, and there's some tricks to it, and that's why board breaking and brick breaking is a bunch of garbage. I've done it in the past, not as a ruse, not to fool anything, just because, you know, as a student, everybody wants to break boards and break bricks, and they think it's awesome. It's not that cool. I mean, it is, but it's not really. But if you have the lines of your board going vertical, and you have your holder, and they start kind of trying to roll it to the inside, and they put a little bit of pressure, when you do your pop, man, that thing's gonna crumble. Easy, no big deal. So, board breaking is not as impressive as it looks. So from here, again, and I can do it from a boxer stance, it doesn't matter. So from here, again, I kind of extend the shoulder, I lock the arm out, and then what I'm gonna try to do is I'm going to push, I'm gonna pop my hip, pop my shoulder, and I'm going to push myself away from the wall. You don't have to go flying. It's not like a movie or something like that. You don't have to go flying 4 feet back or anything like that. But what you're trying to do is you're trying to feel that pop. You're trying to get yourself to pop away from the wall a little bit. Then after that, or you can do the exact same thing on a heavy bag. I like starting on the wall with my students because you get that feeling back. You get that feedback. Okay? So this way you can feel that power. Try it on a heavy bag as well. Okay, so you're sitting there, you're doing the exact same thing on a heavy bag, pop the heavy bag and see if you can move it. Okay, so you're doing almost basically like a no-inch punch or a no-inch palm. Try it on a heavy bag and try to move that. Okay, then see if some buddies will let you push them around as well. Try it on a board or something like that. Just make sure you guys are conditioned well enough in order to pop it on a board. All right, so that's kind of the 1-inch punch. It's really simple. It's not that complicated. If you have any questions or if you have any debates, I'm open to debates. I'm fine with that. Go ahead, leave them in the comment section. I'll get to them as soon as I can. And that was your Marshall Minute. We'll see you guys later.